So what I would like to discuss today is going to be very, very, very interactive. So you need to be really opening up, okay? If you think you don't like to open up much, it's okay. Let others open up then. So, let's just close our eyes. And I want you to start contemplating on 3 most important questions or seekings or anything which you think is the most important thing for your life. Is it clear? Anyone has a question on this? You know, everybody knows what to think about. I want to know top 3. 1, 2, 3. Need not be in the order. Top 3 questions or seekings or whatever you think is the most important thing of your life. That which you run behind all the time. I know it can be very, very, very personal for some people. You don't need to share as such if you think it's personal. But I still want you to at least make a list of top 3 things in your life. 3 most significant questions or seekings or desires which you have in your life. Let's take a minute. What is that which you always want basically? Where is your heart? Because we all understand, we all know, we have the experience. We can be doing anything, but heart is always glued onto something which is not necessarily what you are working upon. In Sanskrit, the term is chitta. So yoga means to rest this chitta in the feet of Krishna. That's the meaning of yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That is a statement in the Vedas. All the activities, wherever the seekings are there, let's at least start to identify them. Where exactly they are. Where is our heart? Do we all have it? I hope. Anybody needs more time? At least you might have some, right? If perhaps you are not able to prioritize still fully, let it go. And I don't know really what 1 or 2 or 3 are. It's okay. At least you have some things which you constantly think. For Diya, it may be, I'm here for my studies. I need to finish it as soon as possible. Get a job. Right? Just making it up. Maybe she wants something else. Anybody wants to share? If you don't want, it's totally fine. But if you want to share, you can tell me. What is that? Yes, Vasanta, you want to share? No, you don't want to share. Sugandha, you want to share? Okay.
One of the topmost would be like finding my true purpose. Like, what is my true purpose?
Okay.
That is something I think about every now and then, but I don't have a clear answer.
Okay. So this is what something which you think every now and then, right? But not constantly. Okay. Is there something which you think constantly? That was the question. Not necessarily, okay, I do have some spiritual goals. I think about it once in a while. And as I said, you don't need to share it out if it's personal. But at least get to know, okay, this is what my heart is. My heart is glued here on these things. For some people, it may be very, very, very honest and just brutally honest. For some people, it may be, I really want to get a Tesla. Right? Really. Right? Yeah. Or no, I already have Tesla, I want a Benz. No, I already have a Benz, I want a Ferrari. Right? I have 1 house, I want 2 houses now. Whatever it is, right? Let's be brutally honest with you. The reason I wanted you to think about it is because in this, some of the mantras which we recited is from a literature called Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Vedic literatures, of Vedic knowledge, it is always a dialogue. There is question and answer going on. It's never a monologue that someone is just telling. And that's why I also want to make this space as interactive. So you also just sort of think about it and then open up and then see if we can find a space where we can have a good discussions. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, there were these sages who were sitting to perform their austerities and sacrifices. And they also had some sort of deep questions in their hearts. And as I said, all the Puranas, all the Upanishads, all the Vedas, entirety of Vedic literature, it's always about question answers. You take Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Arjuna are speaking. You take Katha Upanishad, a person by name Yama is speaking to a small boy, Nachiket. So, you take Srimad Bhagavatam, so many people are talking in this, but it's always in the dialogue format. So these sages, they were sitting in a place called as Naimisharanya. Can you pronounce? Try. Naimisharanya. This is a forest, in India. So usually sages would sit in the forest, just away, aloof from all the vibes of the cities, and they would just contemplate. Their question was that there is going to be a specific age. Time is cyclical, right? In the understanding of Vedas, it's a bit different understanding from modern science. Modern science works on a linear time scale. They think there was a beginning at some point of time, and it's linear. That's how modern science treats time. In Vedas, or in Vedic understanding, time is cyclical. It is not a linear understanding of time, a cyclical understanding of time. And in this cyclical understanding of time, it's divided into multiple different phases. And one of the phases, which we are all living in right now, is termed as Kali Yuga. Can you pronounce this? Kali Yuga. Yeah, Yuga means a time period. And Kali refers to how we all live in anxiety all the time. So, the sages, they got this question. It was a deeper most desire in their heart to get to know, in this period of Kali, when people are short-lived, right? Meaning our lifespan is just 60, 70, 80 years. We don't live like 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years. Again, some of the stories which Puranas speak about, Purana means something which is very old. Vedic sciences is the only science or only literatures in the world which at least come close to what NASA tells as the age of the universe. Now, actually goes beyond it. So these sages, they were wondering, in this phase of universe in which people are always anxious, they are short-lived, they are never happy. No matter what they get, they just want to get something else. Right? You keep thinking, yes, I'll get iPhone 15, it makes me really, really, really happy. And the day you get it, in 3 months, Apple announces again, the best iPhone ever. One more. Right? 16 comes then, and you want that. Right? So happiness is so not really happiness, how we experience it. How many of us have been in a rush, traffic, like really rush, the traffic is just halted. It's not even moving. Have you been? How many of us have this experience?
People of Bangalore.
People of Bangalore, yes, in India it's very common. Yeah. So, you all know then, right? So that at that point of time, what can give you happiness? What is that which you want to do there?
Escape.
You just want to somehow or the other get away, isn't it? Nothing else really gives you that kind of satisfaction or this makes me happy now. The only thing you want, let's say you're stranded. Once I was going to Berlin and just in front of me, I was supposed to take an exit and just in front of me there was a crash. I could see it, right? And they closed. I saw it in front of me and it was already like 3 a.m. Just almost next day morning. I had already seen enough traffic jams by then, but this was like, I was like so frustrated. The only thing I wanted in life was just somehow get out. Somehow, please. I just want to get out. So let's say the traffic starts moving. What do you feel? You feel happy? You feel relieved? And most of the times, this is a simple example in our lives, but this is how we perceive happiness. But unfortunately, this is not happiness. Majority of the times, we perceive happiness as a runaway from the misery in which we are put in. Right? There is something which is going on. You're really frustrated, and you're somehow or the other away from it. We think, oh, now it's happiness. It's not happiness. Running away from misery is not happiness. And it's just to be really clear in our hearts. Happiness is a state of affair. Once reached, you actually don't come down. Does it make sense? Once you reach happiness, it's a state of existence. Once you reach there, you don't really come down. That's the meaning of happiness. So all these things with iPhone 15 and 16 and 20 and 100, whatever, it's not really happiness. Yeah. All the big gadgets, they are 65-inch TV and 100-inch TV and 200-inch TV, whatever you make it. It's not really happiness. This is a way out from our normal circumstance, how we are experiencing. Right? The scrolling on social media is not really happiness. It is not. Right? Somehow, it gives us some sort of, what is it in our brain? There is this chemical which secretes, right? Dopamine, right? There's some dopamine rush there, makes you think, 10 seconds, right? That's what I want. So the reels are, the content creators are in so much of stress now that just tell everything in 10-15 seconds. People just cannot focus otherwise afterwards. Right? It's not really happiness. Just trying to somehow or the other run away. The sages could foresee that this is how people will be living. They get all that they want. There's so much of abundance. But still, I just don't have this one. I just get this one now, I'll be happy. Am I speaking something which is making sense, or am I just making it up? If you think I'm just here, Nilambara, you're just making it up. No, I'm really, really, really happy with my iPhone, which I bought 10 years ago. I'm still going off great. I'm very happy with my social media. Don't tell this to me. Yeah, you can tell that. At least this is what is my experience so far. Right? So the sages could foresee this. So they asked this question to the most knowledgeable amongst them. That person's name was Ugra Shrava. This is really complicated. Can you try it? Ugra Shrava. Yeah. This guy was really intelligent. He was really, really an enlightened, self-realized person. So the sages asked him, the age of Kali is going to come, and the people are going to be living a life in which they are always tormented in their mind, just not happy, always anxious. No matter what they get, they're anxious. That's one characteristic. They give a few more characteristics. They tell the mind is so dull. The intellect is really, really dull. These people, they think they are intelligent, but the actual intellectual ability is very dull. Not just dull, superlatively dumb. That's what they call us. Manda su manda matayaha. Mati is our intellectual ability. So the sages, they tell to whom? Spot quiz. Ugra Shrava. That this people of this age of Kali, they are superlatively dumb. Why? Because we just keep thinking about that which is available in any form of life. You see, Mahabharata, one of the other Vedic literature, it describes something which is common across all life. Irrespective of whichever life you take, these four things are common. So Mahabharata tells Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya and Maithuna. These are four common characteristics between any species of life. Ahara means food. Yeah. Nidra, Bhaya is the ability of just protecting myself. Fear factor which is there, oh, this is all mine, I need to protect. That feeling. And Maithuna is the desire for having physical relationship. Right? So Mahabharata tells these four characteristics are there across all living species. No matter which one you take. Every living entity has these four. Yeah. And humans also have those. Right? We need to eat, we need to sleep. It's just that the way, whom should I pick? I'll pick Diya. She is the youngest here. Yeah. The way Diya eats is very different from how an elephant eats. Right? Right? It's very different, right? Yeah, Diya has a nice plate. She has a nice spoon. Right? She eats in such amazing ways. Right? I don't know if Diya makes reels about that, like how nicely I'm eating. So, but some people also do that. Right? So, first thing which they want to do is just take a picture and make a reel, and then this is what I'm eating. So perhaps an elephant in Africa is not doing that. I want to take a selfie now. Yeah, this is my food. Right? Do you know how much an elephant eats? No, you don't know? Any guess? If an elephant is, usual elephant of Africa is like 2 tons, right? Let's say 2,000 kilos. And usually elephant eats 10% of its body weight every day. Yeah. So an elephant is 2,000 kilos, it eats around like 200 kgs. Diya perhaps is not eating that much. Maybe she's eating like 200 grams maybe, right? But eating is the same. Of course, elephant is eating its breakfast, Diya eats her breakfast. But eating, an act of eating is the same. Yeah? Diya feels very nice after eating, maybe. I don't know. Yeah? Okay. An elephant also feels very nice after eating. Yeah? So, and this you can extrapolate to any living species. When they eat, they feel the same amount of, that is, oh, now I'm fine. There is a word called as hangry. You know that? Hunger and anger together. So that's what we get. Perhaps elephant also feels like that. And when it eats, nice. Sleeping, who should I pick? I'll pick Asmita. A horse or a tortoise or a polar bear, right? They all sleep. Polar bear sleeps really, really, really nice. It's like mostly sleeping. It gets up sometimes, goes, catches a fish, eats, comes back and sleeps. Mostly that's what is the life of a polar bear. More or less. And that does some other activities also, but mostly sleeps very nicely. Has nice, what do you call this? Fur. So it has nicely it sleeps and, right? So perhaps Asmita is a bit more active than that, but when Asmita sleeps, it's the same activity There is no difference. Sleeping is sleeping. Yeah, maybe there is a nice cushion and nice bedding and everything, but act of sleeping is act of sleeping. There is no difference. Tigers and wolves and other, they fight with their jaws and with their nails, and we have like machine operated guns and bomber jets, but as such is the same. And then everybody, in the whole creation, everyone, it's a natural course of action. There is always progeny and next generations, and we always create that. So Mahabharata tells, if this is what is life, if this is what is also human life, what's the use of human life? Diya can never ever compete with an elephant. No matter how much expert she becomes, she can never compete with an elephant in eating. Never. Right? Asmita can never compete with a polar bear in sleeping. She will always lose. Right? No matter how much a person is passionate, they just can't beat pigeons. Right? No matter how much one thinks, now I can really go and bomb entire, you can't really, the kind of vigor with which all the animals fight is like really, they just fight to death right there. So we can't really compete as such. The human is not made for these things as such. We can perform, but this is not the primary activity. Unfortunately, the entire world now thinks that the sophistication is the symptom or is a symbol of advancement. And we're just making it more sophisticated, much more sophisticated. Right? Scientists called out a few decades ago actually that in the modern times we have guided missiles but misguided mankind. Right? You know what's a guided missile? You can just push the button. Enemy flight can it can change the course of flight. The missile will still track and will hit it. It's the meaning of guided missile. So we have guided missiles, but totally misguided mankind. Yeah. So our symbol of advancement, we think I just increase the quality of my life, is not in thinking. I think I get more stuff. That's how I can improve the quality of life. Sages could think this. They could see through. This is how the humanity is going to be. So they asked, in this kind of mentality, people are having no idea of who are they. If we ask this question, who are you? Arihan, what's your answer? Who are you?
I'm just a soul.
You're a soul. What is that?
It's like an energy.
It's like energy. Okay. What else?
Like the main thing is you can align your soul and body together. It's make you more happy and all, right?
Okay.
Like it's very difficult. There is various method or various things to do that to alignment between your soul and body. So it's what I understood. It's like a spirituality through yoga and all.
Okay. Bhavya, who are you?
I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer. Good.
Maybe searching for it, but
Very good. In general, let's say away from this circle, we go outside and ask this question to anybody. In general, what is the answer you get? Name of the person. What else? Okay. I'm a husband or a wife. Okay. What else? I'm a doctor, engineer. Yeah. What else? You're a human. Yes. What else? Huh? Yeah. I'm a male, female, whatever. LGBTQ plus. What else? I'm a son. I'm a daughter. What else? Now I'm a Dutch. I'm Indian. I'm Chinese. I'm American. Yes. What else?
what do they do already?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. Huh?
Very bad.
I'm poor, I'm rich. Yes, good. So See, these are all these answers which we think ourselves to be. It's all designated with this body. Right? It's all with the body. There is so much of strong alignment between me and my body right now that I think I'm the body. Right? But the logical conclusion, if you think about it, is you are different from body. Yeah? You have a body, but you are not the body. Just like you might have a house or an apartment or a car or a phone or whatever, you possess it, but you are not that. Right? Similarly, you possess the body, but you are not the body. You are within the body. The proof is when you say, this is, how do I refer to this? What is this? Whose hand? This is my hand, right? What is the difference between telling my car, my house, my this, my that, my hand? When I tell my house, it's understood that I am not the house, I have a house, right? Logical, right? I am not the house, I have a house, it's my house. When I tell this is my car, I am not the car, I possess the car, right? It's my car. So similarly, when I tell my hand, I am not hand, I have a hand, it's my hand. It's the exact same way you refer as my body, right? You're not the body, you have the body, that's why you call it as your body. You possess it. You take any language, this is how it is. This is how you address. At least the ones which I know so far, including Dutch, this is how you refer. Okay? So, the reason I brought it up like this is because human life is meant for being inquisitive about who we are, is the first question. Right? At least we need to have this question. But in general, in the world, people are really not bothered about that. That's not the primary question of life. Right? Hardly people, once in a while I do think, it's a really important question. But primary question is, how do I increase the sophistication in my eating, mating, sleeping, defending? That's the primary question. How do I increase my bank balance? And how do I make sure that there is a constant income? If I'm getting X, how do I make it 2X? How do I get a promotion? Right? This is where mind is always attached. These are the constant, thoughts which are there in our mind. No matter what we are doing, it's always about how do I enjoy, basically. How do I become more and much more happy in the definition of happiness, whatever I think as happiness. Not really happiness as such, because what we discussed in the beginning, happiness is a state of affair. Once you reach there, if it is really happiness, you don't come down from it. That's real happiness. If it is fluctuating, you need to understand that's just the way you are perceiving it. It's not really happiness. So, where were we? We were in Naimisharanya. The sages were talking to Ugrashrava, and they were asking what? Which question? About the people of this phase of time called as Kali Yuga, wherein, like us, people who are always anxious, short-lived, and superlatively dumb, right? I know it's a bit of attack on our personal, definition of who I am, but unfortunately that's the reality, because you see, if you are really intelligent, you should be wondering about what's going to happen in next 50 years, not just next 5 years. Think about what's going to happen in 50 years. Perhaps this building will be collapsed. Perhaps all of us will be dead. Maybe they are not, but rest of us, yes. She is really young. The rest of us perhaps will be dead. If not 50 years, for sure, if you think of 500 years, for sure you'll be dead. The question is, are you just a chemical composition who is just floating around here, right? Or you are something beyond this, whatever you think yourself to be. If you think, no, I'm just a mixture of all the blood and bones and muscles and everything which is there in my body, well, it is an understanding. What can I do? It's a good understanding. It's the right understanding. It's not wrong, but you are something beyond that. So these sages asked, what should these people do? That was the question. Is there something which they can do? Yeah. And in answer, who is answering? Shrava. He tells, yes, this is really, really good question because of a few reasons. Can you think why this is a good question? Yes, Archie. It's about well-being of others. Right? Those people were not thinking, what should I do? They were thinking about other people. Not just other people, the people whom they had no connection with. It's not like, oh yeah, I want my family to be nice also and nicely happy also. I want my countrymen to be nicely happy also. Right? This was about a time period which is going to come in the future. They don't even have an understanding of who these people are. They were asking questions on our behalf basically. So Ugrashrava, he thanked the sages who asked this question, and then he gives the answer in a few sets of verses. The first thing which he tells is that every activity which we perform in this life, it should not be directed towards just sense enjoyment. A human is characterized by something beyond and above sense enjoyment. Human life is meant for contribution, not just how do I enjoy. Maybe we should close the door perhaps? I think people are just coming in and going out. Yeah. It's safer here, I think. Oh, it's Limbo? Okay. So, first thing which Ugrashrava Sutta tells is that human life is not meant for just things which we discussed, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. It's beyond that. Because we have infrastructure, we have ability with which we can actually think higher things. Right? We are not doing any speciesism here. There is a term called as speciesism that human is the most evolved, and no. Whoever can think advanced is called as a human. Right? If it is never based on how body looks like. Yeah. In Vedic terms, a human is not defined by, it looks like the person has two hands and a face like this and nose like this and ears like this. That is not the definition of a human. Do you know what is a human? It does not matter on how one looks at all. A human is somebody who can think beyond eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Is it making sense? Everyone else, it is categorized as Pashu, means animals. Yeah. It does not matter how one looks like. So it is not speciesism at all. We are not doing any speciesism here. We are not telling, humans are most. No. The person who could think beyond is a human. If a person cannot think, does not matter how that person looks like. Maybe in the form of a polar bear or an elephant or a horse or a pig, or doesn't matter. Right? If we can think beyond this, then person is called as human. So that is the first thing which Ugrashrava Sutta tells. So life, if someone thinks I am a human, they should think beyond. It should never be for one's own. sense enjoyment. Has to be a contribution. And that contribution has to be not having any selfish motives attached to the activities. Oh, I'll do this charity also, I'll do this great pious activity because I want to get something in return. It has to be away and beyond from these kind of selfish desires. Yeah. And this service eventually has to be targeted towards understanding what is the real you. Who are you? Okay. We had this question of like, oh yeah, I'm a soul. I think I'm a soul. Right? But it's not just about thinking and feeling. It's about actually realizing. Yeah. This is about how you actually realize this and live like this. Not just, oh yeah, I once in a while I will feel some spiritual goals in life. How do we actually live spiritually? In a way that life is a contribution. And technically that sort of lifestyle is called as bhakti. Yeah? That's how bhakti is introduced in Srimad Bhagavatam. And you live a life is totally dedicated to not just your own cause, not just the cause of your own fellow beings, but activity in which you understand who you are truly as an insignificant iota of consciousness, which is eternal and full of bliss. And how this iota of consciousness is in touch with supreme most consciousness. Right? So there is Atma, there is Paramatma. Right? Imagine, how many of us are football fans here? Who is your favorite player?
Well, it's tough.
It's a tough question. Okay. Okay. You also like him, Dia? Okay. Whom do you like? Who is your favorite player? Most favorite? You don't really have. Okay, good. Anyone else have? Cricket? Okay. Cricket? Yes. Who is your favorite player? Virat Kohli? Good. Imagine you are in front of Virat Kohli. Yes, you are in front of your whatever iconic person whom you are just, oh, wow, you're just drooling about. You just come face to face. Yeah. How do you feel? Would you like to show like, oh, you know what, Virat, I got this iPhone 16. Right? Do you do this? No, right? Why? Why not? It's insignificant, right? Going to Virat or Ronaldo or Messi, let's just imagine that there is a face-to-face interaction. You are in front of them and then you go, you know what, I have an iPhone 16. You don't do that, right? So insignificant. Other person is just so big, the aura is so huge that you are happy just being there, maybe, right? You don't show, I have this, that. You don't do that. Because the other person is just too great. So imagine somebody who is possessing everything in the entirety of creation. That's what Paramatma is. The entirety of creation is a supreme consciousness. I am conscious of my body. Right? I'll pick Diya again. Or let's pick Aryant. Aryant is conscious of his body. If I pinch myself, Arihant really cannot really figure out that I'm pinching. He can see, but he can't sense it, right? And this sensation of getting pinched, I only can feel. So individual Atma can sense individual body. Super soul, by definition, means one who is conscious of everything. Right? If you are in face-to-face with that kind of an existence, the only thing which you would like to do is just, I'm happy being here. Right? Just like how you would feel in front of a great personality. Now this famous personalities, their fame will eventually get over. It will be somebody else, like you said, German, some you guys coming 16-year kid. Right? So eventually that Eventually that guy will become famous, to become less famous eventually. Somebody else will come up. Right? This fame will eventually fade. Beauty will eventually fade. Right? The richness will eventually fade. So Paramatma, or the Supreme Conscious, is that entity who is supremely divine and sublime and beyond our conception. And bhakti means to understand that yes, I am a part of this whole. I'm not just an independent entity. You are not independent. If you think I'm independent, I can sustain myself, you should stop using oxygen. Really. If in your mind you think, no, I'm an independent entity, I don't need anything else to sustain, please stop using oxygen. Let somebody else use it. Right? So, we are not independent, we are dependent. We need additional supports just to exist. And when we understand that, yes, I'm dependent, and when I understand I'm just a part of the whole, the entirety of universe is a conscious being, it's a conscious entity, and I'm part of this. And when I surrender to that, the activity in that consciousness is called as bhakti. And that's what bhakti is. I surrender myself. I serve. In a consciousness which is beyond my own personal ambitions, my own personal selfish desires for my own enjoyment. So that's bhakti. So Ugrashava tells one has to perform bhakti. One has to be intellectually awakened, asking right questions. You cannot be just living a life which is, who cares? That's a life, but that life is, it's not really human life. It is a life, but it's not advanced life. So one can live an advanced life. Good. How about with the time? Okay. Any thoughts on what we discussed so far? Was it too much? Attacking to your understanding? Is it a challenge to your existence? How do you feel so far? Open. Please speak.
I understand everything you're saying and everything. Still, the mind still goes towards I want that, I want this. I don't think I'm concentrating enough to
It's okay. That's fine.
Sometimes I feel guilty that what is the use of listening, coming and doing. Still, I think the same way only. I don't think it's changing. I don't know. I'm super confused. I feel like maybe if I'm still doing that, then let's leave this path and keep doing that only. Why am I doing? I end up feeling guilty about what my mind thinks and the material desires which we have.
One thing we need to understand is that you take any path of life, any path, for people who have really accomplished, the initial phase was really difficult. Right? You take any sportsman, musician, artist, whoever. Practice phase was really difficult. We know the life of these celebrities only after they became famous. But before they became famous, there was a lot of struggle. So Ronaldo or Messi or Virat Kohli or whoever it is, they didn't become stars on just one fine day they play a World Cup and they're famous. No, right? So much of hard efforts, day after day after day, in which you don't know about it, I don't know about it, nobody knows about it, but they have put efforts, right? Whether it's good weather, bad weather, cold, heat, doesn't matter. They have put the efforts. There was no one to go and clap for them. They have put the efforts. Okay? So that phase was the most difficult phase. Once they crossed that phase, they really put themselves, and then everything else started coming. Right? They could be innovative also in their play and or in their arts or whatever. Eventually, that came after a long practice. So you need to really understand that this life which we are going through right now, in the beginning, when we start this process, it's going to be a bit difficult. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be
Still
difficult.
there is a difference.
It's okay.
They know that they wanted to be there, but
Mhm.
for me, even when I tried to be that, okay, that is what I want. But as you said, like you should not be praying that you want this.
Yes.
I do everything. End of the day, I pray that I want this.
Okay.
I'm like, which I feel like it's not correct, but still I'm doing.
At least you understand that, so that's good. And so that will take you further. One has to be enthusiastic about realistic improvements in life, not just making some. Oh yeah, I came to this Bhakti Space once, and tomorrow morning I'm going to become Buddha. Right? So, I really heard a lot of wisdom, and it was so good. I'll go to sleep today, and then tomorrow morning I'll wake up as Buddha. It's not going to work out. Perhaps it will not work out next year also. We want to do this every week. So our request is that please come every week. However, the improvement is going to be just one step. And it also depends on how much you are applying yourself to the process of spirituality. So in the path of spirituality, there is something called a sadhana, which we are doing every day. Usually, you do a bit of pranayama, which is breathing exercise. You sit down and then recite mantras, and that's what we do in our path. That we actually have a sadhana on a daily basis. We do this Hare Krishna mantra. We sit down and recite, and it's exactly the same how we were doing in the beginning. Every time mind runs out, it will run out, but you bring it back. So you do this as a practice in your own home, in your own setting, your comfort levels, right? Without thinking too much about anything else. So just dedicate a bit of time on a daily basis. When you do that consistently, eventually there's going to be a bit of improvement. Yeah, it will not happen today or tomorrow. This will take time. Okay? Good. Anyone else? It's okay. Let's have a bit more discussion and then we go for Kirtan. Because we discussed a bit too high philosophy maybe. I just want to make sure that everybody gets a calming experience. There is dinner anyways, afterwards. Okay, anyone else want to share? Diya, Smita, Rubo?
Yeah, when you said that, how to be so confused that you wanted to taste this, you think everything is right, but when you said that anything that you are taking decision as for yourself, I think that thing is wrong. Because I also think that sometimes you do something wrong, but ultimately you have to feel days of it doesn't happen that makes you good. So, also to what Vasanta said, I feel like because I also started coming to Hare Krishna only after moving to my but not in India, but I think it's because always really wanted this.
Yeah.
And I had like a mental goal that when I moved here, I was to be so happy. So, but when I moved here, I was like
There's still some lacking in the heart.
not that, but
Okay.
I was in my life.
Yes.
So, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah. But that's I feel like when you have everything, it's okay to move on to the past and you are there and then you're like, oh, I have everything, but why am I not there when I think about it?
Yes.
So that's when you go back to like this is probably not there.
Yeah. So, the way I look at it is there is a small hole in our hearts. And that hole, that vacuum is going to be there irrespective of what you get. No matter what you get in your life, just after getting it, you will feel, oh, I need something else now. The anticipation is so high about getting happiness than actually getting the object of what you are anticipating for. When you get it, mind is immediately onto the next object. Okay, now I have this. What's next? And if people were really, really, really happy with what they get, you would not see all the new gadgets coming up, right? And or people standing in line to buy them. We see that because if this one house which is giving me the happiness of my life, this person would have never bought a second house maybe. Right? Or would have never anticipated to get one more car, or one more this, or one more that, one more boyfriend, one more girlfriend. It's always, right? Why? Because even after getting what we wanted to get, there is a hole, there is a vacuum in the heart. And that can be fulfilled only with actually becoming spiritual. You can't fulfill that with anything material. It's just impossible. Yeah. No matter what we get. Even if you go to Mars, you can nowadays. But yeah, that still there is one lacking, one desire, one additional. Oh, I just want this. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else want to share anything? Bhavya, you want to share anything?
Just with a lot of questions because yeah, what you said makes a lot of sense, but it also I don't know, like I'm confused.
Okay.
Things are coming into my mind.
Good.
So many questions which I want to.
Let's perhaps maybe we can make a list and come next week. Yeah, let's make like that. Yeah. Let's do it like that. Tatiana, how Tatiana? Daliana. Sorry, Daliana. You have anything you want to share?
Not much. I was just listening and also relating back to what I learned before.
Okay.
I didn't read the book. But I have it at home.
Sure. Okay.
But I was trying to relate this idea of absolute happiness.
Yes.
Never going back
Yes.
to nirvana.
Yeah.
Because recently I went on a meditation retreat.
Okay.
This was also one of the topics
Good.
discussed during the retreat. We discussed the characteristics of samsara and the characteristics of nirvana.
Yeah.
And how they mirror each other.
Yeah.
Yes, and so complete happiness was one of the characteristics of nirvana.
Good. Thank you so much. Okay. Would you like to share anything? No? Good. Arko?
Yeah, I almost embraced the fact that I'm a young puppy. Right?
Okay.
So, I would already know these things, but then I also know that that's the first phase of my life, that the desires went from gravity. I'm trying to be on the other side, but it is
Good. So you have
cannot be reduced in
you have come to the right place at least. So let's keep coming. We do this every week. That's our idea. We have already secured the place every week. It's our wish that we make this as our home. We build this community up. And yeah, if we are sincere, I think we'll get the right people in, and then eventually we'll build this up nicely. Okay. Dia, you want to share anything?
Yeah, it's like when you said about the book, like the old person about
Mhm.
the constitution.
Yes.
So I think actually gives you happiness just even if you contribute like a little bit and then incrementing, every day. So I think that's what the purpose is and that's how you
Very good. Thank you. Arihant?
Yeah. Like many questions pop up in my mind.
You can also make a list then. Okay.
Yeah, like for example, we know, since my childhood, I am like little spiritual person, but not much.
Little.
Little
Okay.
spiritual person. And,
Sure.
During the college and all, I'm disconnected from that roots, and now I'm trying to connected with them, and so sometimes we know that we have to take the nirvana when we are die or something. It's our first goal, like as a supremacy capable, we can say. But in everyday life, many desires pop up, and what we can do, like I know that we have to go, like I have to go there particular in this frame. Like this is my last goal or this is a supreme goal. But what to do every day to get there, and it's take time, like you said, it's a sadhana and all. So, but nowadays, or like I can say in like last 5 years, I'm like little confused or like try to balance between them, how I can my normal life and the spiritual life, so get there like.
Good.
So it's,
Shall we begin with this question next time? Yeah, because I think it's useful. Perhaps many people struggle with that. And you have a supreme goal, but you also have to live. How do you really balance? Shall we do that? Yeah, next week.
sure.
First question, right? We'll open with this. Okay? Sugandha?
Yeah, I think what you said about happiness really made sense. That was a really good definition of what the real happiness means, and we use it very lightly.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. And in general, like all this knowledge is really good. It all makes sense, but in the end, it feels a bit abstract. Like the moment you're back to the real world, everything
Yes.
goes away, and
Yes.
it's like you try to bring your mind back to like how you can implement these
Yeah.
learnings into your day-to-day life, but you have to really make a very conscious effort.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's a practice you need to do
Yes.
every day.
So let's combine this also as a theme for next time, which is related with Aryan's question also. Yeah. How do we actually we come to a spiritual, this is called a satsang in Sanskrit. You come to an association of people who are like-minded and spiritual, and then you get here, you move out, it's back here. How do we try to stay high forever? It's easier to stay high in Amsterdam, I guess. But that high will eventually go down. So we need to figure out a way in which we are high forever. Okay.